for undead, we have Wolfgang, which is confirmed, and we also have Hoodsickle. This list is irrelevant. Hey there guys, Portalmaster 9351 here, and in this video we are going to be talking about confirmed and speculated villains for each of the elements. Now, so, as you can see by that little opening bit before the intro, it's a bit difficult now to predict who the villains are gonna be, because we now have 2 undead villains confirmed. But we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about who we know are going to be villains. We know for a 100% fact that Golden Queen is one Earth character. We know that Bad Juju will be the air character. We know with near certainty that Pinata will be the magic character. We know that Wolfgang and Hoodsickle will be undead characters. This leaves 6 character slots, and we happen to not know 1 for fire, 1 for water, 1 for tech, 1 for life, 1 for light, and 1 for dark. Does this mean we'll get one of each of those elements? Not necessarily. But, assuming the current theory is correct that we will have 1 villain for every element, plus Hoodsickle for undead, this is my speculating, my speculation. So for fire, we've got Chef Pepperjack. Chef Pepperjack just makes the most sense. None of the fire characters are really that cool in my opinion, but definitely none of the generic fire villains were cool at all. Chef Pepperjack was hands down the coolest fire villain, so he almost without a doubt would be the villain for the fire element. As to what battle class he would be, I'm not really sure, and he would probably be changed around a good bit to fit his new, battle class. For water, I think Chill Bill's the most likely, to be quite honest with you guys, because Gulper is just not that memorable to me. Some people are speculating that Threat Pack maybe could be a villain, but I honestly don't think so. I think Chill Bill is definitely the most iconic of all the water villains, which is funny because, he's not the Doom Raider, but to me, Chill Bill is just the most iconic, and that's really what I'm going off of to make this list. Who's the most iconic villain of every element? Who was the flagship villain for every element? And I think that for water, that's got to be Chill Bill. So for Earth and Air, we already have those confirmed. For Magic, it's probably Pinata. I mean, I don't think it's Bombshell. I don't think it's Rage Mage. Those two were not really that popular. Rage Mage was cool, though. But Pinata is really the only iconic Magic character in existence, or Magic villain, rather. And, I mean, it's almost already been completely confirmed anyways. So for tech, we've got Crankcase. Why Crankcase? Well, 2 reasons. A, most iconic tech villain. B, we have that new piece of artwork that someone found in a magazine, and to me, that almost confirms that Crankcase will be a villain of some sort in, a villain figure, specifically in Skylanders Imaginators. Just, it's the only thing that could possibly make sense. I mean, Moblobs is not going to be one, and most of the other tech villains don't really even make sense to be put into Imaginators, at least not as figures. So I think Crankcase is what I'm going to have to go for as far as tech is concerned. As far as life is concerned, once again, we have a very tough choice here. We've got it torn between Broccoli Guy and Chompy Mage, and honestly, to me, Broccoli Guy was the more iconic of the 2 of them. And also, we've seen Broccoli Guy's staff in some images with some Imaginators, which seems to make it, kind of makes me think that there's probably a good chance that Broccoli Guy is the villain. Although Chompy Mage, I'd be happy with Chompy Mage too, but Broccoli Guy is also cool. For undead, we've got Hoodsickle and Wolfgang. Both Hoodsickle and Wolfgang. Now, don't get me wrong, Hoodsickle, pretty cool character, but not as cool as Malefor or Spellslamzer or any other character that could have potentially been the 11th villain. Why did it have to be Hoodsickle? But, we'll get to this in a minute, that may not be the case. Hoodsickle might not be the 11th villain. But Wolfgang and Hoodsickle are confirmed for undead. So, light and dark, this is where we run into the problems of how do you classify these things. So, the question is, were Luminous and Nightshade truly Doom Raiders? That is really the ultimate question and the ultimate deciding factor in this. I mean, I don't consider them to be Doom Raiders. I consider them to be major villains. And I think that that's why I really don't think that they're going to be figures. Now, Luminous dual-wielding swords would have been pretty cool, but we have a confirmed swashbuckler now. So it doesn't make sense for Luminous to also be a swashbuckler. At least not if you ask me. So I really think that he's going to be, or that he's not going to be, not going to be a character, and rather we'll see Blastertron. We've actually seen pieces of Blastertron's armor or his weapons, some part of Blastertron in Imaginators as custom parts, and that seems to allude to a Blastertron figure. For Dark, I've got down Taekwon Crow, but once again, Nightshade, Taekwon Crow. Nightshade, Taekwon Crow. This one, I have no evidence for. I have no evidence for it being Taekwon Crow, other than Nightshade was not that popular. Nightshade didn't have a cool moveset, really. I mean, it was okay, but not overwhelmingly cool. But, I mean, seriously, Taekwon Crow was in the story more than Nightshade was. Just about. I mean, really. And that makes me think that Taekwon Crow is the most likely candidate for the Dark villain. But I have another theory that I could have made a separate video on, but I want to cover it in this video because I actually think that this is a better time to do so. We may still be seeing 11 villains. Actually, we're still seeing 11 villains, and even with this theory, I still have 11 villains here. But this different theory that I have would mean no light and no dark character, but rather they double up a character for two of the other 8 elements, and then have a third villain be like a standalone villain like Chaos, Malefor, Spell Slams, or one of those guys, or we just see 3 duplicate elements. Now, is this likely? Not exactly, but it's not that far-fetched either because they've left out light and darks, sort of. I mean, there was only one light and dark Trap Master, and there was only one light and dark core character in Trap Team. And then in Superchargers, there was only one light and dark character and vehicle. So they have done less of light and dark before. Would it surprise me if they did it again? Absolutely not. So, if that was to be the case, then I would expect them to double up on the Doom Raider and non-Doom Raider elements. If that doesn't make much sense, but basically what I'm saying is Chill Bill and Gulper, and Broccoli Guy and Chompy Mage, and then the only the only Doom Raider left out then would be Dreamcatcher, and out of all the Doom Raiders, she makes the most sense to leave out. So, that is what we could be seeing, or it could be 2 elements get doubled up, where we see, you know, Hoodsickle Wolfgang, and then either in addition to that, we get Chill Bill and Gulper, or, in addition to Hoodsickle, we see 2 for life as well, with Broccoli Guy and Chompy Mage. Now, is this a really solid theory? Do I have really any evidence for this? Not really, other than the fact that light and dark have never been as common as normal, you know, the original 8 elements in the past 2 games, and the question is, are they going to continue that sort of lessening of light and dark, or not? Now, there is, the counter argument for this is that they included the elemental symbols in the logo this time, so really, there's no way of knowing if this theory is correct or not. But I did just want to throw it out there because, who knows, maybe it's correct. Maybe we will be seeing, once again, fewer light and dark characters. Just figured I wanted to throw this out, this villain theory and the speculation for the villains list. That's pretty much all for now. This has been Portalmaster 9351, and tell me down in the comments, who would you like to see as a villain? It doesn't even matter if they were from Trap Team or not from Trap Team. Who would you want a villain? What battle class would they be? And what element would they be? That's all for now. Check out my social media in the description. And also, if you haven't already, enter into my legendary Bone Bash Roller Brawl giveaway. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!